from Kibler, Willie Edel.
Hey there, and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Vancouver. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined in the booth by Steve Sadin. And we are right off to the races. We're going to see a feature match here between Brian Kibler on the left and Willie Edel on the right-hand side. Kibler, I got a chance to see some of his draft, and this is representative of his deck. He is red-white aggressive, and that's what he's going to want to be doing. Looks like Willie's off to a very slow start.
He's already in a ton of trouble.
Huge trouble here. That's
missed his fourth land draw.
Yes.
He's missing a color. He has not cast a single spell. Kibler already has a Heirs of Stromkirk and a Hound of Gristlebrand. He's just going to be... Willie's going to be dead.
He's going to attack for 7. And Kibler can even attack freely into a perceived Wolfear Avenger. Oh, geez. Is this game over? I mean, I know you're never really out of it, but this is very bad news for Willie here.
I'm short of a Terminus. I can't imagine.
Okay, well, we do have a Plains coming down. That can Righteous Blow the Hound to get it off his back for a turn.
Sure. So if he has Righteous Blow into Terminus, maybe Willie can start to mount to come back, but
and the Terminus has to be Miracles?
It does, yeah.
All right, so it doesn't look like we have much of a game here. This is one of the reasons why I really like red-white in this format, though, is that even with a relatively slow start like we see from Kibler here, I can't quite see his graveyard. We do see there's a Thraben Valiant
that Willie discarded.
He's
just got his Plains.
So I don't think
Borderland Ranger.
So Kibler doesn't actually have a graveyard yet. Yeah. All right, so we're going to attack. Do we see a Righteous Blow? There is a Righteous Blow.
There is.
So
now we see Willie declared his Borderland Ranger as a blocker first.
So why would he do that?
Because if Kibler has something like a Zealous Strike, he could then pump up his Hound and keep it alive. Actually, it doesn't make a big difference in the spot. Oh, he does. Oh, and Kibler's just going to close out the game anyway.
So what Kibler did is he played Zealous Strike, but he actually played it on his Angel instead just to get in an extra 2 damage, and then he followed it up with a Thunderbolt to the face for another 3 damage.
That
was a pretty savage beating. Look at Kibler. He looks like such a nice guy, but geez, that wasn't very nice.
Fierce competitor.
He sure
Not
is.
someone that you want to sit across the table from.
No, he actually is a very nice guy, but yeah, when you sit across from him, he has no qualms about Zealous Striking and Thunderbolting and any of that stuff. So, I mean,
we really didn't get to see much of Willie's deck at all.
No, I mean, do we question his keep there? Like, if a turn for Heirs of Stromkirk is enough to just dismantle you?
I mean, we don't know how many Plains are in his deck. If he has, but if Willie has 11 Plains and a bunch of white cards and a really good set of cards, if he draws one of his Plains or his Borderland Ranger on turn 3, then I can definitely see keeping it.
Okay.
He may have had some of the best cards in his deck in his opening hand. That might have pushed him towards keeping it. Certainly, we saw things just did not come together at all, but we don't know if he had many good alternatives. His deck might not have many high-quality cards, and those cards may have been in his hand.
Okay.
So while definitely wasn't, we see why that might not have been a good keep.
Yeah.
We don't know from the very tiny amount of information we gleaned the factors that could have led Willie to keep that hand.
Yeah, and one of the things it's cool how the dynamic changes here, because Willie now has a very good understanding for what Kibler's deck is trying to do. I don't think it's a big mystery, and what that means is that Willie can now adjust how he mulligans to the deck that he's playing against. When Willie sat down for game 1, he didn't know what Kibler was on. I mean, he might have had a little bit of information, but they were sitting opposite at the table. It's not like he had a great idea of what he was feeding him. So, Willie could have said, I'll probably be okay if I keep a little bit of the slower hand here. And then all of a sudden Kibler comes out. I mean, not that Kibler had like a particularly fast draw, but
Willie still doesn't have a great picture of what Kibler's deck is like. Kibler didn't play a spell before turn 4.
That's true. But I mean, just the colors, I mean, I guess you could go a few different directions, but if I was in Willie's seat, I would be making some assumptions.
Sure. And Kibler leads off with a Scroll of Avacyn. Oh, second mounted.
Does he have a 2-drop? No, he doesn't.
No, not yet.
So very likely to just cycle his scroll here, which he does. I like Scroll of Avacyn for that reason. I'm pretty liberal with just cycling it. All right, so you see an Angel's Tomb come down.
Still no white source.
And on an end step,
Wolfear Avenger.
It's going to be able to attack freely this turn. It's in there.
7.
Now, does he have a follow-up play? A 4-drop would be pretty sweet here. All right, he's got a Thraben Valiant, not the worst. He does have regeneration mana up as well, although it's not that relevant in this spot. All right, so it looks like Kibler is now the one on the mono-colored deck.
But he has spells.
He does have spells.
He's
this
attacking
one's attacking.
For 3 with his Angel's Tomb, and he has a Hounded Bristlebrand.
This is going to be interesting to see if Willie decides to attack with his Regenerator.
I would imagine that he's probably going to,
because Kibler can block, take him off of half of his mana for the turn, and have a 3/3 double striker on, and that can now attack on the other side. I mean, it's worth considering.
Definitely.
Willie swings it in. The Kibler just doesn't want. So what does Willie have now? Another 2-drop? So he must have just drawn that, because you figure he would have cast it last turn if he could have. Which he could have. And a Bladed Bracers comes down as well. I mean, against 4 mountains, there's no reason not just play your spells, right?
Right. If Willie puts the Bracers on his Wolfear Avenger, he could actually do a lot to hold off Kibler.
Yeah. I mean, Willie's looking to just turn this game in his favor anyway.
Sure.
I mean, Kibler needs to keep the momentum. Now, he has drawn a Plains, so that should open up a good portion of his hand, as far as we know.
It's actually not going to take Kibler that much to sort of stall out the board. Yeah.
I mean, we have an Angel's Tomb, and that's a card that can do some work in an aggressive deck, but when you get, like, in this position, I don't think it's that great. Like,
well,
right, it doesn't
Kibler is able to stabilize. Willie doesn't have any blockers. It's only a matter of turns before Kibler is able to fly to victory.
Do you mean any blockers for the tomb if
for
it's active?
The tomb,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
For flying. Willie certainly has an abundance of creatures on the ground, including Wolfear Avenger, which is very difficult to get past.
Wow, this is a tough spot for Kibler. He's going to just decide to use up his mana. He had some other spells that he could cast. He's going to cast an Narset Scrapper, and I think I really like this play. The reason is, generally speaking, my strategy at Limited is I try to use up my mana every turn. I put a premium on that. Now, there's times to view it as an exception, but for the most part, I find that my results went a lot when I started prioritizing just using up all my mana every turn against players, especially that weren't.
All right. We saw Kibler briefly contemplating attacking with his Hound. Chose not to. Instead, just sent in the Angel's Tomb.
Would you?
Probably not.
Okay, you don't want to trade it just for one activation on his...
No, if Willie
Avenger
equips his Wolfear Avenger with Bladed Bracers, I would be looking to block with my Hounded Bristlebrand.
Okay. I mean, that's a way to get value out of the Hound, right?
Yeah. It comes back as a 3/3 double striker. It shuts off Willie's turn.
Uh-huh. I like it.
Even if Willie doesn't equip, I would consider blocking here. Kibler needs to make sure that he has enough turns to fly to victory.
Yeah. You know, there's a few ways to get that Hounded Bristlebrand in. I was talking with Tom Martell earlier today, and we were talking about Call to Serve, which is a card that I would normally avoid. I think that card is not worth it at all. But it's proven in this format that it actually can, serve, if you will, as a way to get in a bunch of damage.
Yeah. No, there's no shame in playing a card like Call to Serve.
Wait, there's not?
I don't think so.
I feel shameful when I play it. Should I not?
No, I think it's a perfectly reasonable card. You need to get look at Willie's board. If Kibler didn't have a flyer, you'd have no way to get through damage.
Yeah, right.
This happens a lot in Addison Restored Limited. We see.
Willie's going to attack. He played a Timberland Guide. He put the counter on his regenerating Wolfear Avenger, and he is just going to ship just the Avenger in for 4. Kibler doesn't really have a great block. In fact, he just doesn't have a block at all. He should probably just going to take it. And he does. He goes to 10. And looks like Willie is going to quit.
Onto Thraben Valiant.
So it's a 3-2 with Vigilance twice.
Capable of trading with Kibler's Scrapper.
Do you think he put the bracers on that just to play around things like Guise of Fire?
No, I think
because it seems like it would be better on the Moorland Inquisitor, right? Because it gives, now they would both have Vigilance.
Sure. I think that Willie would prefer to trade his Thraben Valiant with the Scrapper this turn.
Okay, so
I think he's looking at the very, very short term.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. He's planning on a trade if the Scrapper decides to come in. All right, looks like Kibler's drawn his second planes, which is going to be pretty important considering that he is red-white. It should open up pretty much all his spells in this deck. I think Jubilation Angel is the only thing. I don't know if he has that, but that he couldn't cast here.
Okay, we see...
Or Angel of Jubilation, I mean, which...
Kibler tapping 4, debating between a couple of options.
Looks like a Gold Knight Commander.
Yeah. I think there's also a Having Gold Vampire in his hand.
Oh, he is... Okay.
He does go for the Vampire.
So activate this, attack. He does not swing in with the Narstad Scrapper. If he had, the trade would happen, but and his Having Gold Vampire would get 2 counters, but he decided it wasn't worth it. He just decided to leave the Scrapper back. The Scrapper is holding off quite a few things along with the Hound.
Now, Kibler is at 10, but Willie doesn't have a great way to break through right now.
No, he's kind of in one of those spots where it's going to be potentially brute force.
At some point, if Willie tries to attrition Kibler out, the Vampire is just going to grow and grow and grow.
Yes. And
eventually block him off of future attacks.
I like that play by Kibler because I think if you played the Gold Knight Commander there, like, what does that really do? Like, you can sack the trigger so you can make your Angel a little bigger, but like that's about it.
Sure, and Kibler may want to hide the fact that he can punch through extra damage.
Like if he could play that and another creature in the same turn.
Willie right now thinks that he can take 4 hits from the Angel. So, Kibler blocks.
He now is going to block. That's a dead creature. He gets a counter on his Vampire. He's going to get a counter from Undying.
And Willie has to tap 2 mana.
Yep.
Can't really make any follow-up plays.
I wonder if Kibler has a Cloud Shift in his hand. I know he has one in his deck, and that's a card that works quite well with Undying when you can get value out of it.
It looks like he has a Gold Knight Commander and I believe an Emancipation Angel.
Oh, okay.
That's
that
the
also
other
works well
white card in his hand.
With the Hound, you can reset it. I mean, it does shrink it back down.
Willie could be dead in the next 2 turns.
How?
Between the Gold Knight Commander and Kibler's Flyers. I know that Willie is aware of the fact that he's in danger. Mm-hmm. I don't think he knows how much danger he's actually in.
Okay.
And very
looks like Gold Knight Commander is going to be the guy that comes down here, and it is. And a Moorland Inquisitor, so this is going to pump the creatures. So you predicted this before where he could play that and another creature in the same turn, which he's now done. And it looks like he's gearing up for a big hit here. Oh, rethinking.
So Willie has to chump block the Hound. Or else, that's 10 damage right there.
The Hound has... Oh, he's just going to swing with everything. Everything that can.
Yeah. So he has a 5/5 flyer, a 5/5 double striker, and 2 other 5/5 creatures. So Willie has to block at least 2 of Kibler's creatures.
Yeah.
And even then, he falls to 1 life against a monstrously large board.
Now, what if he just... Yeah, right. Yeah.
Gold Knight Commander just offered Kibler so much damage.
It sure did.
Out of nowhere.
It was. I mean, Willie must have been like, uh-oh.
Willie's there. He's probably planning to take 3 from the Angel's Tomb. Maybe he has to chump block the Hound, but then he gets a good attack coming back the other way. Suddenly, Kibler gives all of his creatures +2/+2. And Willie has to chump block with multiple creatures.
Yeah, and I mean, that Havengoul Vampire, if it doesn't get traded off here, which it really can't, is going to be huge.
Yeah. And we know that Kibler has another creature in his hand to activate the tomb again next turn.
In fact, he has 2.
Sort of. If he finds another plane.
Yeah, because all of his creatures are white right now. Well, he could just... I mean, I guess he probably wouldn't want to, but he... If the damage made sense, he could bounce like his Hound. He need another land and then replay it. But
that's true. Yeah,
that's 2 activations on the commander again, and I think Willie's going to be at fairly low life total after this turn ends.
So Willie will be able to live through this turn, but living through the next turn is going to require a lot of good things to happen.
Yeah. Looks kind of reluctant, but he's like, I guess I block here. Did he...
So, first strike damage resolved, killing the Timberland guy.
Yes.
Willie used a Righteous Blow to allow his 3/2 Thraben Valiant to trade with the Havengoul Vampire. I don't... What? Oh. You sure?
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah,
Gold Knight Commander does not trigger on himself. So I was completely off on that math. My apologies.
All right, well, Willie's still alive. He's sitting at 7.
Still a big turn for Kibler.
Yeah, it was a very big turn for Kibler.